How's it going? It's Rocky. Welcome to week 9 of the $2,000 weekly challenge. Every Friday, we review our weekly account statement from trading the micro E-mini and the E-mini futures. We also try to review some of our trades, but this week I didn't really trade much, so I'm going to change it up and I'm going to do a video instead to show you how to do a scanner on ThinkOrSwim, specifically for the MACD crossover scanner. So our goal with this challenge is to earn an income of $2,000 every week through a common strategy utilizing the MACD and the stochastic RSI with a time-based chart, as you see on the left, which is 5 minutes, and a tick-based chart on the right, which is utilizing Heikin-Ashi candles and 512 ticks. Details of my strategy is on the description below, so please check it out. And also they're mentioned throughout most of the examples in most of the content we've released so far. Just keep in mind that my trading is not the right or the wrong way of doing things. It's a strategy that I've become accustomed to and have backtested and tried to improve over time. So I have no chat room and I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just sharing my content with everyone because it's a way for me to learn from the community, and hopefully by watching my content, you yourself is learning what it really takes to actually trade the E-mini and the micro E-mini features. So please let me know on the comment section below if you have any suggestions or any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. So as I've mentioned, I didn't really trade much at all this week. I essentially just closed contracts that I had that I held over the weekend. So if you check out the link above from my account statement review from week number 8, we were facing a 2-day margin call, and because of that, I had to be careful. And really, I just wanted to close the contract so I wouldn't get in trouble. So I decided for the rest of the week, I really wasn't going to trade much, and I was just going to try and observe the market and learn from it. So that's why from here, you can see that this one trade that I did do, the one trade that I held on over the weekend, it's in gray. And actually, I'm going to change that to just our 1 hour here, so it's easier to visualize. So you can see the difference there. In the previous weeks, I trade a lot, but for this week, did not trade. I just had that one mistake I made last Thursday, and I held on to it. I did sell it at a loss, but I'm quite fine with that. I'm quite okay with it. I'm just ready to move on and be able to trade better and smarter next week. So for week number 9, I'm glad to say that we reached our goal of earning $2,000. So for this week, we made $4,600.38. It consisted of just 2 red days. But what's interesting about the trade that I did this week, or just my trading journey for this week, is that I really didn't trade much. I basically just sold 2 contracts, which is on Monday. I sold 6 of the contracts on the micro futures that we had, and then I was stubborn enough to hold on to one of the E-minis, which saw a lot of up and downs through it, and basically sold that on today, which was a nice close. Always remember with trading, what really matters is the time or the day that you buy and the time and the day that you sell. Everything in between is just noise. So always keep that in mind when you reach a point where you're panicking or you feel like everything is running away from you. So for this week, it was the math will be a little tricky, but we'll go through it together. I did withdraw $2,000 because I have a recurring withdrawal that I try to do every Wednesday. But then because of how the market volatility was, we were getting real close to the getting another margin call, so I deposited that $2,000 right back. And then, as you can see here, we also deposited another $10,000 thanks to you know who you are, who helped me out with this. And the goal really here is to have an account where I have a lot of breathing room, and So I'm not forced into this bad decisions where I'm getting close to margin calls. So I'm hoping by next week we can go back to a more disciplined trading and do a better job on managing our trading journey here. So our ending cash for the week is $24,197.09. However, we did initially withdraw that $2,000, so we will add that. And then again, we did deposit another $2,000, so subtract that, and the other $10,000 that we added to it, so we'll also subtract that and close the parentheses. And our starting cash was $9,596.71, and that is how we came up with our net profit of $4,600.38 for the week. And something I've been trying to do in previous weeks is just to compare that to what would have been for a regular 40-hour week. What would your hourly rate be? And as I mentioned in my previous videos, there's just a high level comparison, because a lot of traders, I know, they try to trade only in the morning. But for me, since I'm still, growing and trying to scale up, I do spend, I would say, at least 40 hours a week on it. But just for simplicity's sake, we're gonna compare this to what it would have been for a 40-hour week. So let's say it was a 40-hour week, then our rate would have been $115, which is quite nice, and something we'd like to hopefully be able to do and replicate every week. And that's something that hopefully we can do more as the cash balance in our account grows, and that's really where you'll see compounding. It's a huge thing. Now let's show you the scanner that I use for a MACD crossover. As you can see on the left here, I do have two scanners that I have, which is basically the long or bullish MACD crossover, or a short MACD crossover. So whenever a crossover occurs, I'll get an alert on my my phone or laptop, and I've also set it up so I receive a text. And only then do I try to analyze what's going on and see if it's a good time to enter and exit a trade. So what I like about ThinkOrSwim is it's a very powerful tool where there's built-in scanners on there. So you can go there from scan on the top, and then from there you go to stock hacker itself. But before I show you exactly what I use for the scanner, let's go back to the chart here to understand the MACD itself. So the MACD study, I'm going to double click on it right now, just so you understand this. A lot of people probably do go into this detail, but I'm not quite sure if you yourself have taken the time to do this. So with the MACD, I'm using just the default MACD that TOS has. Some of the variables that you want to pay attention to here is the fast length is at 12. Slow length is at 26. I did not change any of that at all from the default itself. And then when the crossover, what we always cared about was when this blue line crossed over to the yellow line itself, or not quite yellow, but blue and yellow would be easier for me to describe it that way. So the blue line is actually the value as shown here. And if you wanted to read more about it, feel free to read the details about it. And then also what we care about is the average. So that's the yellow line. And that is shown on here. And I was going to try and show you two screens of it, but I couldn't figure out how to do it with ThinkOrSwim. So what we're going to do is just do a snapshot of this. I'm going to put that on the side for now. So let's go to scan on the top here and go to stock hacker. And then from the tabs here, you go to load scan query and go to create scan query. And a pop-up window should show up as such. Okay, so bear with me here. This is the best way for me to be able to show the scan query that we're going to develop, as well as the snapshot of the MACD itself and the variables that we want to pay attention to. So first we're going to work on the bullish crossover. Let's call that bullish MACD crossover. And then we can essentially scan all stocks or anything else. Actually, you can do this with whatever you need to do. But for what we're doing, we're just gonna do the 4 micro features that we like to trade. Okay, so with intersect, we'll leave that as none, and then the exclude, we'll leave it as none as well. And you know, it's already showing 4 matches here, which is the 4 indexes that we're able to trade itself. The next one that we'll do here is to add a filter and study. And as you can tell from the studies, there's a bunch that you can use. There's actually already an existing crossover here with the crossover and the MACD histogram crossover here. I haven't used it. I should actually check it out. But I like being able to do this manually because you have a better understanding of what the MACD is itself. And just going through the process will help you learn itself. So let's edit this itself, and we're going to delete that because we're not using that. For the aggregation, it's based on the candles you're using. So for what we've been using with ours, we've been using the 5-minute candles. So we'll leave it there. And we will include, of course, the extended hours for the trading session itself. Now go to the ThinkScript editor. And as I mentioned, you know, the variables that we want to be aware of: the fast length, the slow length, and then the numerical, the value and the average itself. So let's type it here, MACD. And what we care about is that the fast length. And also bear with me here. My background is in engineering, but programming has always been my kryptonite. So it could be a better way of doing this, but yeah, just bear with me here. So the fast length is 12, which is the default for the ThinkOrSwim. So you can change that however you think you need to. And then the slow length is 26. So that's what's shown there. Slow length is 26. And let's close that. And basically what we're saying, the value of that, so the blue line itself for the value, is greater than. So what we're trying to see is when a MACD crossover and it becomes a bullish signal is when this value line is greater than this average line, which is the yellow line. So what I just mentioned there, we're typing in here, is greater than, actually to make our life easier, we just copy this front also. So essentially it's the same thing. It's greater than that MACD, same thing, fast length 12, slow length 26. But we're comparing that for the MACD of the average itself. Oops, there you go. And the next thing we're doing is that we'll paste that again, the MACD. Fast length, same thing, nothing changed there. So we're saying that the value, oops, from 1 bars ago is less than the average from 2 bars ago. What exactly did I just type there? What that means is essentially it's just to compare essentially from what the location of this value was from 1 bar ago compared to 2 bars ago. So you can see that it changed and it did crossover. Okay. And basically Click OK. And you save. And we're done. So now we're done, and we're back to the screen. So if you were to load it, just load scan query. It was a personal one that we did, and it was the bullish MACD crossover that created. So it's right there. Just open it, and essentially we can scan, but nothing's gonna show up right now because the market is closed itself. So actually, let's get rid of all these other things here. So there you go. So that this is all we should really care about. So if you ever wanted to make changes, just go to edit here, and that's where the things that we develop for a bullish move. And if you go to ThinkScript editor, if you needed to change any of that. And essentially for a bearish one, you would just have to do the opposite of it. Let me know if you actually need help setting that up. To make your life easier, I did, give you that text on the description below, and that should help you out. And but with anything with learning, copying and pasting someone doesn't really help you. So it's really best if you do it yourself, because just going through the motion and repetition will make you better at doing this itself. So that's our content for this week. Please subscribe if you learned something, and if not, please give me another chance, and hopefully you'll learn something on our future content. All right, I'll see you on the next one.